Welcome to Saturday Night Confessions. And this is the one you've all been waiting for. This is the one where I spill the beans about taking my dad to Mexico. That's right. And I have some neat ideas for triggers for fun. And it doesn't always have to be about drinking, so I'm not drinking any alcohol in this video. There's a very good reason. You have to be responsible when it comes to alcohol and other drugs when you want to do that kind of stuff. And I have to work later, so I don't get my normal day off this week. But I don't want to delay this video because I think everybody wants to see it. Now, I have a few quick announcements. One is I do not have a Patreon account, and no one should ever feel obligated to support this channel. But there are a couple ways to support the channel if you want to. One is you can buy items. I have a t-shirt for sale and a mug. You do not have to buy them. You don't even have to look at them. But if you'd like to support the channel or get yourself a t-shirt or a mug, you can do so on Teespring. You'll see an ad for it on this video, and the links are in the description below. The other way to support the channel, if you'd like to, only if you want to, is you can go to my Tingles App account. I have my videos on the Tingles app. It's great for watching my videos ad-free on a cell phone device or other types of mobile devices. It's only like $5-6 a month. I'd really like to get enough supporters to get a new 3DO mic, because my old 3DO mic is starting to show some wear and tear from the 3 years I've been beating the death out of it. So if you want to support the channel, help me get a new 3DO mic, you can become a supporter at the Tingles app. But if you don't like it after a few months, just quit, and I'll understand. Do not support my channel. Do not buy items from my channel unless you want to. You do not have to. I don't want you to feel obligated. That's a no-no, okay? Because that's not what it's about. What it's about, and part of it's because I think I do just fine with my ad revenue and what I get in my videos, and I'm fine with that. I'm not being arrogant about it. I feel there's a good trade-off. But I do know people want to support the channel, they can. Okay. The other exciting thing is I was in a collaboration with ASMR Darling, and that link is below in the description box. You might have saw it on my community page, or you might have just saw it because she only has like 2 million subscribers practically. ASMR Darling was nice enough to ask me and a few other artists like Minx, Laura123, I think Gibby ASMR is in it. Let's see. Articulate Design is in it, ASMR. And that kid PJ ASMR. He seems like a nice kid. And everybody was really sweet, and you could tell everybody really tried to do something different and weird. And, you know, people brought out the costuming and the green screens and all that stuff. And of course I scared the hell out of everyone, and so did Minx Laura. And we had so much fun doing it. And the fact that someone like Taylor Darling would, as big as she is, would take the time to grab artists of different sizes, you know, from 40,000 subscribers all the way up to 1 million were involved in this collaboration. And that just shows the diversity and the, you know, the length and breadth of the ASMR community. It really does. And I don't think people really rationalize that. Almost everywhere in YouTube, everybody is like, you have to be like on a certain plane to play ball with certain, you know, other people. ASMR is really not like that. If somebody likes you, you might have 5,000 subscribers, but if somebody likes you, they like you. There's a lot of artists that I like that are very small, and for whatever reason they don't get popular, and it really boggles my mind. And there's artists that are really popular and really famous and really great, and I don't watch them. It's not that I don't like them. They don't appeal to me. I don't get the tingles from them. It doesn't click with me. It just doesn't work. I always go back to the old classics like Whisper's Unicorn and Calming Escapes. I still watch them. I like them. The classics. And then there's these new artists, like Restful Place ASMR and who's that? ASMR Muzz is doing some neat stuff. And you watch these guys and you're like, you don't know who's going to be the winners and who's going to be the losers. You really don't know. And when somebody like ASMR Darling goes and does a collaboration and brings people from all aspects of the community together, like a showcase, it really, I admire that. I don't think she even set out to do that. I think she set out to show you the artist that she liked, that she watches, but she kind of grabbed old artists. She grabbed artists that were smaller. She grabbed artists that were been around a long time. She grabbed newer artists. She really showed you a true showcase of the field, and it was an amazing group of artists that I got to be a part of, and I really admire and respect her for that. And I don't know if that was her plan, but she definitely did something fantastic. She really brought a lot of different diverse people together, and that's so lacking in YouTube. From the first days of YouTube, the ASMR community is the only one that really does this kind of stuff. Almost every other genre, if you're a small channel and you're on a bigger channel, it's usually because they're picking on you or ripping on you or making fun of your videos, or you beg them to showcase your video. Nobody does anything for free, and Taylor did this for free to help her fellow members in the community. That's pretty big in this day and age. Okay, I wasted a lot of your time running my jowls, so let's get down to what's important. My parents were... I love this thing. We're going to play with it. And it doesn't squeak. So don't worry. We're going to play with this. I hope you like it. My parents were married for 50 years. They still are. Both my parents are still alive. They're about 77 years old now. 76, I think. Maybe 77. Well, anyway. But anyway, when they reached their 50th wedding anniversary date, I was doing pretty good financially. And I decided that instead of having a party, I said, why don't we just... I'm one of their older sons. They have 4 sons. I said, why don't we take them on a cruise? They like to go to the casino once in a while and play those slot machines, and they like to go to dinner. Cruises are like that. They have a casino. You can go to dinner. You can see the ocean. You get to see the world, but it's nice and calm. It's not like being on a regular boat. These are like skyscrapers. So I said, well, why don't we take them? And I think they'd really enjoy it. And, I told my brother, my older brother, he and I put it together. I said, I'll take care of the trip. He'll take care of the tickets. We kind of split it up so it was even. He'll pay for this hotel room. He'll pay for some transportation. So it kind of worked out. And I said, okay, let's do it. So I, believe it or not, was in a position in my life where I could write that check. So I wrote that check. He booked it. We told my parents about it. I had to go get their passports. That was taking my father to any government agency, or he's on disability, and he has this thing about the government because you have to jump through hoops to get yourself on disability. And he's very ill, and he deserved the disability status. He was wounded several times. He got wounded while he was in the military, as a matter of fact, and he didn't get a Purple Heart. It was like not a combat related thing. So he's always had a lot of suffering and hard times in his life, and I always bring up his military service because he brings it up all the time. It drives me nuts. So, not that I have a problem with it, but I gotta be careful because I don't want to offend anybody. But he tends to do something that old veterans do on occasion, and that is he likes to exaggerate a little bit. Okay. So I had to take him to get his passport, and that was a trip. That was a trip. Because whenever I take him to a government place, he starts this thing where he gets anxiety, and he starts getting all worked up, and he starts, and he starts freezing up and getting nervous. He looked like a Russian mafia guy in his picture. He looked like he looked like he was getting a picture for, when your mug sheet for when you go to jail. And I just couldn't stop laughing. But we got through that, and I thought, okay, I'll go and I'll read up on the TSA. Because my dad has a cane. He doesn't need a wheelchair, but he does use a wheelchair if there's a long distance involved. Because he really wears out really quick, and he has a hard time walking. So that's why I thought a cruise would be good, because they could, you could sit and rest, and there's a lot of things you can do without having to go a long distance. And he's not a kid anymore. This is a few years ago. So they were in their 70s when we took him. And I read up on the TSA, and I said, hey, this is really good, Dad. What you do is you give them your cane, and they give you a TSA cane that's already been cleared. Okay, it's got TSA right on it. And it's a hollow aluminum cane, and you go through the security. And if you ever have a relative that's in a wheelchair or disabled and needs a cane, the TSA is so welcoming, regardless of what people might think. And regardless of my personal experiences getting searched by them because of my father, they're great. They really are. And they have all the bases covered. So you can even get your wheelchair, you can put somebody in a wheelchair in another wheelchair that they've already cleared, and they get them through the security, and then you can transfer them to their regular wheelchair. And it really makes it convenient to get somebody through security. So they give you a cane, they give you a walker, whatever you need, and it's already been cleared. And that item will go through the security line with you, and then you pick up your good items on the other end as they're checked, And I thought, well, these guys really got it together. So I coached my dad before we went. I sat down like I was talking to a 5-year-old, and I made sure I had eye contact. And I said, okay, old man, let me explain this to you. Now, this is the way it's going to work, Dad. They're going to hand you a cane, and we're going to take your cane. We're going to put it on that little conveyor belt like at the grocery store. We're just going to send it through. And he sat there looking at me like this. And right then and there, I knew I was in trouble. Because he was like, oh, so, I'm explaining it to him. So I probably hurt his feelings. Because I had to explain how to go through a security checkpoint to a dummy. I must have been talking down to him, or I don't know what. We flew out of Pittsburgh International Airport, which is a wonderful airport, and it's a huge airport. And that one went pretty good. He started to panic a little bit, but they were so excited. We had just had a nice lunch, and everything was going well. And I said, okay, let's go through security. That way you have that done, and then we can just sit around and relax. And so I shoved his butt through the security system pretty quick before he had time to really think about it. And that went pretty good. Now, after that point, things got a little dicey, because then it was like there was no real way to you had to, like, from that point on, you had to get up and then go through security to do things. So we got to the boat, and that went pretty good. He had a little bit of trouble with that security setup. And I thought, well, okay, he did all right. He got on there. The ship security isn't as intense as TSA, but he seemed like he was having a hard time with it. TSA is a lot more intrusive, I guess is the right word. But he seemed like he had more trouble at the ship, which I found odd. What I didn't realize was that this was going to be an accumulative effect. The more security and the more times we forced him to go through security checkpoints, the worse he was going to get until he was almost literally unable to go through a checkpoint without causing a major scene. Yes. So, we got on the cruise ship. Everything's fine. And he wants a beer. He wants a beer, but my mom is vehemently anti-drinking. So he would say, hey, sneak me, I just want a sip of beer. Give me a sip of beer. I don't want to drink after you. Give me a sip of beer. So I'd get him a beer. He'd have a sip, and then he'd hand me the beer. So now I've got 2 beers in my hands. So I'm standing on the deck of the boat. You know, we're just about ready to pull out, and I've got 2 bottles of Coors Light in my hand. And my mother walks up and goes, "Oh, you're drinking awful early in the day there, aren't you, Michael?" And my dad's like, "Yeah, he's an alcoholic. Just look at him. 2 beers." And I'm like, really? Yeah, that's me. I'm just a raging alcoholic. I can't help myself. 2 at a time. You know, what are you going to do? I know you raised me the best you can, Mom, but somebody always has to be a loser in the family. I guess it's me. So, okay. All right, that's fine. No big deal. So, I'm showing them how the boat works, and we're walking around. And I pretty much turn them loose, you know. They just do their thing, and they're having a good time. So later on, I'm sitting in this English pub. This is in the evening after dinner, and somebody hits me in the back. Oh, it's my old man. Oh, hey, Dad, what's going on? He goes, which I'm going to show you a picture of that right here. Here's the picture of me and my dad at that exact bar. There he is holding a bottle of Coors Light. So I said, hey, you want a sip of beer? Because he has medications and stuff, so he can have a sip or 2 and then that's it. But he can still enjoy a taste of a beer. He goes, oh, I'd really like a beer. I'd really like a nice cold beer. Can you give me a beer? Now, these are like $6 a bottle on the cruise. So you just don't like have a sip of beer and then throw it away. I'll drink after them for $6. Whatever. So I go, hey, yeah, okay, get him a beer. So bartender brings him down when we're in this beautiful little English pub. He takes a couple sips and goes, oh, I'm done. I knew it. Takes a couple sips. Here comes my mom and my wife right behind me. Oh, there he is. I knew we'd find Michael in here. You found him, Jimmy. There he is. He's in the bar drinking again. I'm like, I just stopped to have a beer. Well, it looks like you got a couple there. Okay, yeah, that's me, you know, because I can't get rid of them. I can't drink them fast enough. So, you got me again. And he did this to me every day. I really don't get this guy. He's really good. I know I'm smart. I actually know I'm intelligent. And I know he's setting me up. But I wanted a picture of my dad. The bartender took that photo, by the way. I wanted a picture of me and my dad having a beer. And, okay, whatever. So I got him good. My son got married here last Saturday. And I bring it up a lot because I want everybody to know I'm very proud of my family. And I hope I'm not going on and on and on about it, but it'll pass. I love my son. He's a very intelligent young man, and he married a wonderful girl. And she came from a beautiful family, wonderful group of people. Anyway, we're at dinner, and I said, well, let me get a beer, and I'll get the dad a beer. So I bought my son's new father-in-law a beer, And then I thought, I'll get my dad one too. And I got my son a beer. And I wanted a picture of my dad and my son and I together holding a beer. I just wanted that picture. And here's that picture right here. So you can see that's my dad. He's about, like I said, 76. And there's me. And I got my arm around my son, Max. And he was just it was a real casual, laid back, small wedding. We had such a great time. And I was just so happy to get that picture. So my dad had a sip of that's Blue Moon Ale. So he had a sip of it, and then he gave it to me, and he really liked it. He was like, "Oh, I haven't had a sip of beer in years." I go, "Yes, it's the last time you tricked me into buying you a beer, right?" Yeah, okay. Then yeah. So he took a couple sips, and then they had some mulled wine for toasting. Some really wonderful, authentic English mulled wine. I think it was English. And it was so good. It was like a honey tasting mulled fruit wine. It was so good. Okay, so they passed out this mulled wine all around the table. Everybody took a tiny taste and said, it's not for me, and passed all the glasses to me. So I had 2 draft beers and 4 glasses of mulled wine in front of me. And then my mother says, "Well, if you don't like your mulled wine, Michael will drink it. He's drinking everything. He's just drinking. Look at him. He's putting them away." I'm like, you people, I'm at my son's wedding. I just want to have a couple of beers. And I've got 6 alcoholic drinks at my table in front of me. They did it to me again. And as soon as they do it, they got to tell, "Oh, look, everyone, Mike's got 6 or 7 drinks all at once. Can't get them down fast enough. Look." You wonder why I'm not drinking in this video. I got to prove that I don't have to when I'm talking about these people, or you would think I have a problem. I'm not making this up. I'm like... And mulled, I'm going to tell you something, just in case you don't know. Mulled wine, sweet, honey tasting mulled wine, and beer don't mix well. Drink your wine, Mike. You just had to have it. You just drink your beer, Michael. You just had to drink your beer up, Michael. Every time I put the glass up to my mouth, drink your beer. Have another drink of your beer. I go to the waitress. I say, "Hey, see how I got 2 beers here? Get me 2 more. And keep them coming until I tell you to stop." I'm not making... I wasn't drunk when I left my son's wedding, but you definitely wouldn't want to light a match around me. I can tell you, I assure you that. So, anyway, to make a long story short, we're in Mexico. We get to Mexico. We did a 4-day cruise, and there was only one excursion, and that was to Cozumel, Mexico, which is, I probably didn't say it right. Cozumel, Mexico is an island on the east coast of Mexico in the Caribbean Sea, and it is a wonderful place to go. They have everything, and it's so cool, and I love the place. It's a real tourist destination. I took my parents on a submarine ride. We went and saw like a real octopus in the ocean and a whole bunch of really cool giant fish. And it was so cool to be in a submarine with the glass bottom, windows where you can look out. And they had just the time of their life. That went pretty well. Now the problem with my dad is, when we got to Mexico, my brother told someone from Mexico, "We're here to celebrate my father and mother's 50th wedding anniversary." What my brother didn't know at the time is the Mexican people are actually really nice people. They're, contrary to what you might have heard on the news, they are wonderful people. They actually care about the elderly and their elders. And they were like, "Oh, Puppy, Puppy, Puppy." My dad was Puppy from this day on. "Everybody, Puppy's here." Oh my God. My dad got it in his head that the entire country of Mexico was there to service him. Because he's the revered Pope, whatever they called him, Poopeye. So Poopeye gets, some guy runs up with a wheelchair. Now, you have to remember, when they dock these cruise ships, they're on these long-ass docks that are like a half mile to a mile long. And sometimes there's 3 or 4 huge cruise ships docked at the same time to these docks. These are really long docks. So the old man sees this guy with a wheelchair and says, "Oh, I could use one of them. That's a lot of walking here." And he goes, "Jump right in, Popey. I'll give you a ride." "Oh, good. My family's not even done getting through the rest of security that my father caused trouble with, so everybody's getting searched now." See, that was his thing. He'd get when he went through the line. I'm setting off the alarm because I got a plate in my head. The man doesn't have a plate in his head, and he always went first, and then everybody else gets searched behind him because they get everybody in that security line pissed off. Everybody there like, "Ooh, you guys want to play games? Well, everybody's going to get searched now." And he's over there going, "Hey." He jumps in a wheelchair, and this guy pushes him all the way down to the other end of the dock. I go, "Chris, I gotta go." My wife, my brother Jim, I gotta go. I run as fast as my fat ass will go all the way down to the other end of this dock. I get there just when the guy's getting my dad out of the wheelchair, and he's like, "Oh," and the guy goes like this. Now, anybody that's been on vacation knows what this is. He doesn't want to shake hands. He wants a tip for pushing you in his wheelchair. That's how this guy makes money to feed his family. My dad goes, "Oh, God bless you." Grabs his hand. "God bless you, son. You're a good man. You're an honorable. You're one of the best people. I got a plate in my head, and I got a bad knee, and I got a bad back, and I'm on disability, and I never met anybody so courteous as you and kind." And I'm like, "Dad," I run up. I go, "Dad, just stand over there for a minute." I go, "How much?" And I wheel off some bills and pay the guy. "Okay, Dad," I said, you gotta watch. They're not doing this for free. When people, "Oh, I know. You think I don't know? Because I know." So I'm in trouble now. I did the stupidest thing a human being can do. I took my father to a foreign country where I could actually get arrested and put in jail for the rest of my life. And I would want to stay in jail for the rest of my life because I deserve it for bringing this man to a foreign country. I've never been so scared in my life. So he starts strutting around, and they'll say, "Oh, Poppy, you want this?" And, "Oh, yeah, I'll take that." "No, you have to pay for that." "No, they're not giving you that's not a free sample at the grocery store." I told him, this is the duty-free place, and this is where all the shops are, and this is like a place the cruise line set up for the tourists to go before we go to our excursions. So he's walking around, "Hey, Poppy, you like this?" "Oh, yeah, I like that. I'll take that. Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that." "Stop taking stuff. You gotta pay for that." I'm like, "Oh." And this went on. So then we go, and we're going to go on the submarine. So we go on the submarine, and the submarine ride was perfect. We get off the submarine ride, and this lady goes, "Would you like a picture with your wonderful family in front of the submarine?" "Oh, yeah." Well, there goes $20. They don't take the picture for free, Dad. The woman's, "Well, we'll get 2 then." "Oh, you mean I can buy an extra?" "Oh, well, that's great then. Yeah, sure, I'll get you one too, because we know you need one. Mine is, I couldn't take mine home and copy it. You, thanks, Dad." "Okay, so we got to carry this around the rest of the day." So we're going to go to this other excursion, and my brother's at a beach. Now, thank God I didn't pay for this excursion, because we walk up and I go, "I need a cab because I got to go downtown to this excursion I'm going to go to." And the guy goes, "Oh, the local guy goes, 'Oh, you don't want to go downtown. You want to go to the other place that Poppy wants to go to.'" Poppy wants to go to the beach. You don't want to go downtown. Not safe, not safe. He goes, oh, see, that guy was looking out for us. That guy was looking out for me. We're going to the beach. We're going to where Jimmy is at the beach. Mike was trying to take us downtown and get us robbed and get us killed. He's telling this guy from Mexico that's never met him in his entire life. That's my son, Jim. He's the good one. He came to this beach. He knew it was a good place to go, a safe place, not like my other son over there that paid for the trip. He brought me down here to kill me downtown. He was going to take me downtown, and he was going to have some criminal stab me with a knife because he wants my house or something, or my car. He doesn't have anything. I don't want anything. I don't want nothing my dad has. I don't want anything you want, old man. So he's telling this guy, and everybody gets up to leave, and I'm like, why is this guy giving me the stink eye? And this guy's like, did you have a good time in Mexico? This guy, this waiter is like, we see your kind down here from the United States. You don't know how to take care of somebody like a Poppy. Poppy's, you wanted to get him killed downtown. I'm like, oh, this really happened. I know none of you believe me, but he's like, thank God Almighty that man at the taxi cabs told us not to go downtown, or I'd be dead right now. Mike was going to have us killed. And I'm like, okay, you having fun, old man? Because I'm going to tell you what, if you buy one more thing from one more person in Mexico behind my back, I'm gonna take you downtown, and I'm gonna kick you until you're dead. How's that sound, old man? Okay? Yeah. No, I'm joking. I didn't say that. No. So, although this gets better. So, Cozumel was having a little, I don't know what was going on. So they had some military there, and these guys had old weapons. You know, they had like the old Jimmy Jeeps with the 50 cals up on top, and they had the big old BARs, rifles, and they had, you know, machine guns and all kinds of stuff. They didn't, you know, M16s, like the older stuff that you see in movies from back in the 80s, 90s. These were like reservist troops. These weren't like their frontline troops. And my dad's walking along, well, that guy got a M1 over there, and that guy over there got a M16. I had one of those. I didn't know how to do that. I was in the war when I was back. Dad, you're in Germany. You weren't in the war. I'm Vietnam era. See, they have this thing you can put on your license plate. There's Vietnam vet and Vietnam era. And when you're Vietnam era, you get treated so good. It's like drinking Coca-Cola with no calories. And he's sitting there, I'm Vietnam era. I was there. I threw a grenade, and the sergeant pushed me down, and it blew up right over the wall because that hillbilly didn't know how to throw it far enough and almost killed us. And then I got that footlocker hit me in the head, and then I had a plate in my head, and I got metal screws in my brain. And I'm like, none of that happened. You don't have any metal plate in your head. But what he did have was a metal plate that he found at a gift store to keep his security cards, you know, his credit cards from getting scanned. So he had this metal plate that he bought at some gift store, and he stuck it in his wallet. So now he's got his wallet in his front pocket, and he's going to go through a checkpoint where everybody's armed to the teeth with BARs, M16s, and fully automatic machine guns. He wants to get his picture taken with a soldier, winds them up. They say, don't touch the soldiers. They had to tell him 5 times, don't touch the soldiers. The soldiers are going, oh, hello, Poppy, 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 you like to shoot the gun, Poppy? I'm like, if you touch that gun over me, I swear to God, I'm going to throw you in the ocean. You're not going to make it. I'll hold you down till all the air comes out. And it's like, you don't touch that soldier. Take my picture with the soldier. So I'm like, no, let's just go through the checkpoint. So he has a metal plate in his wallet, and it's going to protect his credit cards, but at the same time, it's going to get me killed and arrested in Mexico. And he goes right into the checkpoint, The guy takes the wand and goes, and this wand goes off like a firework. It goes like boom, boom, and when it goes off hard, boom, the guy goes, "You got something in your pocket?" Reaches and touches my dad's pocket. They're allowed to do that, They're allowed to, actually touch you. He goes, "Oh," and grabs the guy's hand and pulls it away. Next thing you know, there's 10 guys around us. And I'm like, hold on. My brother's like, "Oh, he bought a thing for his wallet." He gets his wallet out. We show it. They scan his pocket. They're like, "Don't touch ever again. Don't touch ever again. Don't touch. You don't touch. We touch. You don't touch." And I'm like, I got it. And I'm like, oh my God. I think they thought he was funny. But that wasn't good enough. Now he's upset because he got scared. So now he is in a full panic anxiety attack. And we are in Mexico and we can't get him through the line. He won't calm down. And I know it's like I'm making fun of somebody who's having a very hard anxiety attack, but it's hard to explain. And I'm like, "You just got to calm down." Okay. So we get him calmed down. Everything's fine. Now you feel better? Good. We get him through the security checkpoint. Everything is fine. Everybody, no mas, everybody's going to the boat. Well, there's this little thing called security on the boat, so you don't bring in, contraband liquor and drugs and stuff and firecrackers. So he's all calmed down, and we're sitting on the dock, which the guy had to push. "I need a wheelchair." So he got in the wheelchair, and we pushed him. Again, I'm like, "Oh boy, you're feeding the family this week, ain't you?" Yeah. So the same guy pushed my dad back on the wheelchair, and I'm like, "Okay, all right." "Oh, thank God that guy was here. I'm so upset. I went through that security, and I'm a veteran, and everything's a veteran. I'm a veteran. It's like, we all know you're a veteran, but you got to shut up. You just got to calm down. You can't be yelling. You can't be getting all worked up. You can't be staggering around like you're drunk. You got to calm down." He goes through. I told him, "Hold your wallet in your hand. Put it on the belt. That way the guy will check the wallet with you right there." He put that wallet back in his pocket, and he did the exact same thing when we try to get on that boat. Now they're going to tear everybody's bags apart. They took us off to the side. They got to check everybody out to get on the boat. I'm like, "You just won't be happy. Just won't be happy, will you?" Getting off now that was the last time. Okay. So getting off the boat, when we got back to the United States, you just literally walk off. So that's not a big deal. You may go through a metal detector, but I don't remember. I was pretty relieved, and I was like, okay, I think everything went pretty good. We went to the beach, we had lunch, tried to keep everything calm, and we said, well, we're about done. Let's go down to, it wasn't Tampa, we flew out of Fort Lauderdale. Let's go down to Fort Lauderdale International Airport early so we can get through security okay. Won't be in a big hurry, Would you like that? Then maybe we'll, Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll go down early. Yeah. That's a good thing we went early. We pull up, and immediately I have to have a wheelchair. He found out that he could just sit in a wheelchair and they'll push him all over the place. Well, that's great. So now he doesn't need to walk for the rest of the trip. He's just going to have some guy or me or somebody else push him around in a wheelchair. He says, she needs a wheelchair too. So now they think they're just going to push their way right through in wheelchairs. When you're in a wheelchair, they have to search the wheelchair, and it's not necessarily the most comfortable thing. He wanted to go through the checkpoint in a wheelchair, which takes even longer. Gets up there, starts the plate in the head, starts the metal plate in the wallet thing, starts all that crap all over again. Ends up getting pulled off to the side and searched. My mother has an aerosol can in her bag. She gets grabbed. I come over to straighten it out. My mom and I they put rubber gloves on. They have you stand there, and they put their hand everywhere. And my mother's like, they touch me in places someone hasn't touched me in years. They took my mom's wheelchair away. She got mad. She doesn't need a wheelchair. She can run around more than most people ever will. They took my wheelchair. I said, I don't want the wheelchair now. You don't need a wheelchair. I don't want one. But you don't need a wheelchair. Yeah, I don't want one. Okay. All right. Okay. My wife's like, do you want a drink? No. I don't want to touch any liquor. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. He almost got thrown off the airplane. We didn't get strip search, but we got, I don't know what kind of cavity search, whatever they want to call it. My mother and I, he didn't. He just sat over there and was telling the guy about, and then all my friends went to Vietnam and they didn't make it. And I'm like, you were in Germany, Dad. Will you stop it? Unless he's lied. Maybe he lied. Maybe my dad was Rambo. Maybe he was in the Mekong Delta. Maybe he was at the Tet Offensive. I don't know. But whatever. I give up. We're all getting searched. He's over there driving some guy nuts that's making $8.50 an hour. So anyway, we're boarding the plane. I figured everything's fine. But my dad had one trick left up his sleeve. By the way, when we got back to Pittsburgh International Airport, I left my parents and my brother and his wife. I left them. When we got off the plane, I said, it was so good to see all of you. And I had such a wonderful time. And then I walked away. I left them. Did you know if you get on an airplane and when you got a cane and the stewardess takes it from you to put it in the overhead bag and you grab it from her and rip it out of her hands, that they're going to bring police on the airplane to talk to you? I don't know if anybody ever knew that. Like if when the stewardess comes up and you've got a cane or a bag and she tries to take it from you and put it in the overhead compartment for proper storage, and you reach up and rip it out of their hand, and act like you're drunk or act like you're mentally disabled or act like you're completely insane. Did you know they do that? Did you know the plane can't fly until they figure out what your malfunction is? I bet you didn't know that. I bet none of you knew that. I bet nobody here knew that. I know that. I know that firsthand. I know that. I don't know how I know that, but I know that. Now, you had to store the cane on the way from Ohio or Pennsylvania to Florida. So why did you give the stewardess a hard time about stowing your cane on the way back from Florida to Pennsylvania? I don't know. That's my dad. You know what? I didn't do the trip for me. I did it for my parents. I knew he was going to be a little difficult. I knew he was going to be a little bit of a turkey. But I also knew that he'd have a good time. They had a blast at dinner. They loved the wait staff at the dinner. Every night they would go there and have a great time. They liked getting dressed up and going down and showing off. And we're here for our 50th. And everybody was happy to see Poppy and Grandma come in there. And for some reason, my mom wasn't venerated as much as him. He was, Poppy! Look, everybody. Wherever he went, they just went nuts over him. So he's a character. And he's a little goofy little Archie Bunker, plays his little game. It's not fun for me because I have to deal with him and I have to get him back on the boat. My responsibility is to get him back to the United States in one piece. And that doesn't include in a casket. And his idea of a good time is just to put on a good show and be a character. And he had the time of his life. And people loved him. Everywhere he went, the people of Mexico, the people on the cruise ship, they thought the sun rose and set over this old man. And it also had to do with the fact that they were able to get him to tip and pay for anything. So that probably helped some. But he was funny and he had a good time, and that was the idea. I didn't go for me. I went for him. And he and my mother had a great time, and my mom, I got to spend one moment where my mom wasn't chastising me for drinking too much. She found a beautiful little jewelry ring she wanted, and there's like duty-free and no taxes on jewelry when you're out on the high seas. So the ring was real reasonably priced. It was pretty cheap, actually, but here it might have been a $400 or $500 ring. She got it for like $50-$60 there, and she was so thrilled. She was just absolutely thrilled, and she wore that ring to my son's wedding last Saturday, and that's kind of why I decided to do this. They still talk about that trip. They had such a great time. They loved it. It was a huge memory for him, and they had a great time. And he, to this day, if you ask him, like, are you in security? He wouldn't even faze him. He didn't think he did anything wrong. I'm a veteran. I deserve this. I deserve that. It's like, you know what? He actually does. He served. You're a great man. You're a wonderful person. You're my father. Love you to death, Dad. Honor thy mother and father. You can hate your dad all you want. I don't hate him. But you got to honor him. You do have to honor him. And it's just funny to me that he was such a character, and he really clicked with a lot of people. So if you're watching this and you think I'm a little bit of a grumpy Gus and angry at my dad, just remember I was trying to be the responsible one and keep those two kids, my mom and dad, out of trouble. But he had a great time. Did he win anything at the casino? No. But they had a great time, and that's what counts. They just had the time of their life. So if you ever get a chance to do something like that for your family, like a grandmother, grandparents, your mom, your dad, somebody that means a lot to you, if you ever get a chance to do something great for them, like take them on a camping trip or something, or a cruise, or take them to Disney World, somewhere they've always wanted to go that they couldn't go, don't be afraid to do it, even though it's probably going to be a real angsty thing and you're going to come back home with mixed feelings and mixed emotions. When it's all said and done, you're not there for yourself, you're there for them. And they definitely got their money's worth. And I definitely, I thought I was going to be the good son. Well, I was the good son. They thanked me profusely. But at the same time, they had their fun. They had fun being the characters that they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. They had a good time. So what are you going to say, right? I don't know if that was a good story or not, or if you enjoyed it or not. I don't know if, I don't know about you guys, but anybody in military uniforms holding automatic weapons and getting a little bit cranked up because you just grabbed somebody in the military by the arm, it's not really a good situation to be in, but I had fun. And I give it to the people of Mexico. They have a good sense of humor. They were wonderful. They treated us with great respect and dignity. They were very calm. Nobody got hit with the butt of a gun, so I count that as a plus. And nobody got arrested. But luckily, we were able to sort that out. The end. Hope you enjoyed that silly, silly story. And if you didn't, I'll try harder. Stay tuned for more Saturday Night Confessions coming up. I'll have to think about what I tell you next time. I hope you have a good weekend. Remember, my name is Dr. Andrew Michaels, and I'm always here to help you. Until I see all of you again, please have a most blessed day. All right? Okay. And don't forget to check out that cool collaboration that your own Dr. Andrew Michaels was in on ASMR Darling's channel. Okay? Link below. All the links are below. You can check everything out. All right? Okay. Have a nice day.